How are you? Kathy.
Hey, Kathy.
It's been so long. Hey. Oh, you're on mute unless I've got this turned down. You might be on mute.
How are you guys? Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go.
We're
good to see you.
Good. How are you?
Excuse me, I'm in my pajamas. I looked tore up, but
Oh, that's the magic of
Good for
Zoom.
you.
It doesn't matter.
Good for you. Yeah.
yeah,
I'm in my pajamas all day, so
right.
I get on this call, but
Where are you guys at? You're not in Costa Rica?
not right now.
We're hiding out. We're hiding out in the US.
Nice.
I mean, we had 3 opportunities to leave, and trust me, I'd rather be in Costa Rica, but I asked, we try to do what we're told, and I asked 3 times, and they said, stay, we need you on the ground floor, and I was like, okay.
Well, there it is.
Yeah. Can't wait to go back though, but.
Oh, I bet.
Yep.
Cool. Awesome.
Well,
I'm gonna put you back on mute.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna mute everyone. Oh, there we go, just in time. Awesome. Okay. That's a good dog.
Oh yeah, Leia's here. We got Kathy. We got
yeah,
Nicole. Hey,
we got more
sister.
people. Hi, Leia.
Great. Kim,
Hi,
Cynthia. Hi.
Kim. Hi, Sin. It's 9:30. Do you want to start?
Looks like we got a few more popping on.
All right, they're here. The crew's here.
All right.
Core team's here.
Awesome. So let's just dive right in. I just want to go ahead and just begin with an opening prayer and intention setting. So let's go ahead and just close eyes. Take a deep breath. There's so much energy moving here right now. And God, we just want to ask you just to be here with us tonight. God, we just ask that you connect us all and that your Holy Spirit would move through us and that your intention would move through us, God. And we know that you have a plan for each and every one of us. We know that you've brought us here together for a very specific reason and purpose. We know that there are no mistakes. There are absolutely no mistakes in this world. And so, God, we just ask that you would move through us. You would unite us. You would lift us up. You would raise us up. And that you would move through us in such a way that was so powerful tonight that each and every one of us on this call would have absolute clarity, absolute knowing, absolute truth, absolute discernment on who we truly are and on what we are here to do. And that through that lifting up, that we would find a way to actively, intentionally, multidimensionally work together to fulfill your life mission, our collective life mission, together in unity.
No, it's good.
Amen. Okay. Awesome. Yay. All right. So I want to leave a little extra time actually for questions because a lot of you have been sending me private messages this week. And I know there's a lot of questions going on. So I actually want to save some time for that. But I also want to dive in because there's so much going on beneath the surface right now. And so I want to dive into a little bit of the transmission that I've been receiving this week. And of course, I love to hear from each and every one of you too. So feel free to share in the chat what you guys are getting in as well, because again, it's Galactic Internet. We're all carrying different pieces of information, different coding. And I really believe we're all here to share that and work together on it's a group mission, right? So I just want to start with the Galactic Confederation of Light has been speaking to me very, very, very strongly this past week, to the point where it's a little bit challenging being in a body, and because there's so much dumping in, so quickly. I like to call it the Galactic Internet, right? And I really believe you guys have been talking with the Galactic Internet for many, many years telepathically. And I feel them so incredibly close to the surface right now. And, you know, I don't know how many of you are watching and kind of looking in the skies or can feel it as well. I'm seeing more and more and more reports online of people, you know, seeing UFOs in the skies or cloaked UFOs.
It's funny because about, I don't know, a week and a half ago or something,
Right.
Jen was basically saying, look, guys, like we need support. You know, we need your help on the ground floor.
Like I can't take this energy anymore.
You know, come send some on the ground support. You know, send some air support. You know, it's like you're in the middle of the jungle. Send air support.
Right.
And so the next day she was like, I feel them. I feel them.
I was
up
like,
there.
oh, they're here.
There.
I was
Yeah.
like, I actually went outside, and I mean, I couldn't see them with my visible eyes,
Yeah,
but
so-
I'm like, I was like waving. I mean, I was like, I know you guys are right there. Like,
So
I
a
can
little
feel
bit,
you.
yeah. So later she
Yeah.
goes outside to look for him. The kids are looking out the window and they're like, "What's mommy doing?" And I'm videotaping her, looking up around.
I know
She's
they're there.
standing in the middle of the yard. And I was like, "Your mommy's looking for the spaceships, baby."
No.
And so then,
I mean, our kids are little ETs. Like, I mean, I learned about the ETs through our kids. You know, I really did. I really did.
yeah. So
Yeah.
then, and then she heard another psychic online that was saying, you know, kind of the same thing, that the Galactic Confederation of Lights coming down, they're sending ships down, they're really helping us on the ground floor.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but also before that, I think like 2 months ago,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we were really preparing for COVID-19 to be this like horrible thing that was going to spread across the planet and, you know, like really devastate everything for 18 months.
Well, and wipe out, you know, the intention. I believe that there is another timeline where it actually was the bioweapon that they intended it to be. And it did wipe out a lot of people, and it was mass hysteria. And it's interesting because once I started getting that, you know what, I don't think I think they botched it or something. And then I started seeing visions of.
You can get into this in a little bit.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So anyway, she found another report from somebody else that basically confirmed this. And you can talk about this in the meat of.
They were saying the same thing. Yeah. Well, you can talk about it right now.
Yeah. So basically, you know, she's been spending a lot of time. And then the other funny thing was that now they, you know, what department was it in the government that released the video of the UFOs?
Yeah, that's from like years ago. Like those of us that follow this stuff are like, wait, they finally actually leaked it officially. Like we saw this years ago.
Right? They leaked it 2 years ago, but they just officially released it like a week ago.
Right.
So we're standing on our, you know, after dinner every night, we go out to the sidewalk, and our kids just ride bikes up and down the street, and the neighbor kids come out, and then we have some really awesome neighbors that we hang out with every night, and they're not used to. They're just, you know, it's like this beautiful,
there's like normal people,
middle class neighborhood, and so, you know, they come out and they ask some questions, and we just kind of talk about what we're getting in, so she's like, so we're like talking a little bit, and then at one point she goes like, what's going on with the aliens?
What's going on with aliens? I'm hearing a lot about UFOs and aliens.
Like, I saw they just released a video of some UFOs, and then I guess there's this neighborhood app. There's some neighborhood app. I don't know, fancy technology now. We haven't lived in a neighborhood in 5, 6, 7 years, I think.
Been in the jungle, yeah.
And so she's like, yeah, this woman from our neighborhood said she saw a UFO like right above your house.
I was like, let's talk about that.
And I was like, hey babe, looks like people are seeing your UFO.
It's about time.
She's like, what? Yeah. So anyway, Jen's been getting some messages.
Well, I mean, this has been, I mean, you know, it's not like this stuff's all out there for anybody who has eyes to see and ears to hear. You know, I mean, Area 51, I mean, it's been in our government for years. This stuff isn't really, you know, none of it's really super shocking, I think, to those of us who have been paying attention behind the scenes, right? But yeah, what's very interesting is that there's so much coming out now that's beginning to really get leaked really solidly, you know, even to just, you know, normal, you know, middle-class Americans. So it is a really, really exciting time to be here. One of the downloads I'd gotten again a couple months ago was that basically I felt like the Galactic Confederation of Light, I feel like they're doing a lot to, as much as possible, use their technology and to nullify certain things that would wreak extreme havoc on our planet. So, things like nuclear warfare, this particular bioweapon, I think they sent something down. I don't know exactly how they did it, and I don't think it's actually really important, but I do believe there was an intention for it to be very, very highly destructive, and I do believe that it was somehow nullified. And I see that. And so I wanted to talk about this because we are in really World War III, and World War III is infiltration rather than invasion. And it is playing out on multidimensional levels. It's playing out in our air. It's playing out on our ground floor, and it's playing out beneath the surface of our earth, right? And, those wars are being fought in the sky, very important. And there's a lot of protection going on. And there's, really the Galactic Confederation of Light to me is much stronger and much more powerful than the Dark ETs, which, are very real also. But, they're way outnumbered, and that's something I really want to emphasize too. They're outnumbered in the skies. They're outnumbered on planet Earth. They're outnumbered, even our military. And we do have some confusion going on in the military. I was watching, I don't know how many saw the videos, people are protesting all really across the planet right now. I'm seeing a lot in the US, a lot in Europe. I, of course, was watching the Sacramento protest, which is amazing. I put up a post on my Facebook page earlier this week about, the guy that was up there speaking, I believe he was an ex-Marine, is speaking to the police officers in their language. And some of them were, you could feel physically in the field the way that they're being torn. These guys are not bad guys. They're following orders, right? But they need to wake up, right? So there's a lot going on. So I want to, on the one hand, I want to really emphasize that I believe this awakening is happening. I believe that timeline number 1 is becoming more and more and more and more and more inevitable by the minute, by the second, which is that higher timeline. And I also believe that it's really, really important for us to understand our position and our role on the ground floor. Yes, there's a war being fought in the skies. Yes, there's a military war with, I'm hearing 17 countries military involved, right? We're hearing different things behind the scenes, but there are multiple militaries involved. But there's also, and then there's the war beneath the surface of the earth, right? But there is also spiritual warfare. And I believe that each and every one of us on this call is here because we came here to be on the ground floor for the spiritual warfare, for the spiritual awakening of this planet. And that is our role, and that is our mission. And the Galactic Confederation of Light can only do so much. They have their role that they're here to do. The military can only do so much. President Trump, love him or hate him, can only do so much, right? So we have got to, and this is coming in louder and stronger for me from the Galactic Confederation of Light. It is coming in. It's getting really loud, you guys. I'm going to be really, really honest. And yes, they're higher dimensional beings, and yes, they're very, very patient, and yes, they're way, more mellow
but they're just
than
as
we
frustrated
are.
as we are.
Yes, they
I was like,
are
good. Now you know how
frustrated.
Now you know how we feel like. The humans are dense. What do you want us to
The
do about it?
Galactics are also,
We've been trying for 8 years.
I'm even feeling some impatience from them right now. Okay, I really, really am. No, they're not human like we are. They don't have the same types of egos that we have, but it's translating to me as frustration. And I really feel like, you guys, we need to get out of, we're wired for the service to others path, which means we always want to do the right thing. We always want to help others. It's why we're here, right? And at the same time, I think it's really important to look at, we're here, like we're going to awaken the masses by standing firmly and solidly in truth, because the whole world has been fed lies, and they've been predictively programmed. We all have experienced pieces of this. We've all experienced amnesia. And so I really feel like there's something really, really big coming in about really, really standing in truth and really not backing down. And there are ways to do it elegantly, you know, as elegantly as possible. There are ways to do it with as much kindness and tact as possible, right? But there's a big difference between being in truth and being in kindness and being in like political correctness, because you don't want to step on somebody else's feet or upset somebody. Okay. I don't believe that now is the time for us to be in political correctness. Okay. We are having, you know, Nazi Germany was an experiment that was highly successful. And that's the truth. It was so highly successful that we were lied to about it. And we thought it's all done. You know, like that's what the masses were told, right? Well, it's all done. That'll never happen again. We learned from it. No, they learned from it. They took all the information and they went, that's exactly what we need to know to now do this on a global scale, right?
Operation Paperclip.
Of course. And so, you know, I don't want to freak anybody out. I don't want to be in fear. Yes, we need to be in high vibe. Absolutely. But we are not just here to be in high vibe right now. Yes, we should hold the highest vibration possible. But if we're on the ground floor right now, we are to be in serious, serious action right now. They need the Galactic Confederation of Light needs our help. Jesus, Sananda, whatever you want to call him, Yeshua, needs our help. He needs our help. If he were here on the ground floor right now, if he were here, that guy was such a political activist, badass. Like, he went up against the cabal of his time. He went and turned tables over. If they were protesting in Sacramento and he was a Californian, I think he'd be there on the loudspeaker. You know, like, I don't want to speak for Jesus, but like,
he was the truth meter.
Yeah, the guy couldn't not speak truth, you know? And so I just, that's just the way I see him. That's my, you know, this is my personal read on him, but I do talk with him quite a bit, you know? And I know we all have our unique perspectives on Christ and all of those things, but all I'm saying is, like, we need to get really real. You know, Christ had this way of speaking to people where, if you think about the parables, and I know a lot of us are either Christians or we're raised in Christianity. Maybe we're not practicing right now, but we're raised in, you know, if we're from the US, most of us were raised Christian. Or are familiar with the Bible. If you think about his Bible stories, right? I've really been thinking about this a lot lately. Just take for instance, the Samaritan woman, right? The Samaritan woman, she is going to get her water in the middle of the day, in the heat of the day. Why? Probably because from the well. Thank you. Probably because she was like, nobody wanted to be around her, right? Because it's a Samaritan thing. So she's going to get her water in the middle of the day, right? He comes up to her and
comes up to her.
Shocks her, right? He asks her for water. She's like, what? Right? And then he starts telling her about her life and like the 5 men she's been with. And like, he starts telling, he's a freaking, call him whatever you want, but like, this guy's a clairvoyant, or call him a psychic, or call him like he's just connected with God. Or again, the language is, the Holy Spirit was moving through him. Okay. He was just a truth speaker that would shock people. Okay. And he was not sitting there worried about, should I be politically correct? What if I offend somebody? You know, there's a reason that they say he was hanging out with the tax collectors and, you know, the people that were, you know, unlikely. He wasn't hanging out. I'll tell you who Jesus wasn't hanging out with. He was not hanging out with people that were lukewarm. He wasn't. Thanks, Nicole. He wasn't. The guy was not hanging out with people that were lukewarm. Mary Magdalene, first person he appeared to was the women, right? When he rose, when he ascended. We're in a mass ascension process right now. You know, Mary Magdalene, she was something else.
And the reason he liked hanging out with these types of people, and it's the same thing with, oh my God, Zechariah, who was the guy in the tree, right? It was like the money collector in the tree, Zacchaeus.
Oh, he's like pointing at him.
He's like, you And they're like, why are you going to his house?
He's like, I'm going to your house tonight.
And you know, it's like, because he was this like unsavory fellow that had like screwed people over for money.
It's like shocking people.
And it's like, these
right?
are the people that he liked to hang out with, because they're the ones actually willing to ruffle some feathers, right?
When you've got Saul becoming Paul, right? I mean, the people he was converting were unlikely.
And then they go, and then they're able to be the biggest mouthpieces, right? Because they're the biggest pain in the ass anyway.
You
right?
know, it's said that the man that actually, you know, when he was being taken down from the cross, right? There's a story that says that basically the lance, and that's where they get the Lancelot term from, that actually lanced him in the side, and the water and the blood poured out.
With the spear.
Yeah, that actually converted him. That he actually even started a church. I mean, I want us to start thinking about, like, thinking outside of the box. People need to be rattled out of their slumber right now, because the alarm bells are going off for us. For those of you that are here, we know, like, you wouldn't be here if you didn't know, right? The alarm bells are going off so loudly right now. I mean, you can go on CIA.gov. It's not even WikiLeaks. You can go on WikiLeaks. That's great. But like CIA.gov, you guys, has all this stuff leaked right now. I'm like, what? So can somebody look at this?
I stumbled upon this
CIA.gov
trove of documents on the CIA.gov website. And I'm like, I have no idea if I'm supposed to be able to have access to this information. But I was up for like hours, just like it was like Bin Laden's computer hard drive or something. I'm like, what else can I find on here? I mean, it's like, there's some crazy stuff going on. But anyway, the point is, like, we need, you know,
We're in the Great Awakening.
How many of you are hyper aware of stuff that is not right? You know, you're the way showers. You're not here just to hang out and then like go back to sleep tomorrow and not do anything with this information. You're here because you're the ones collecting the information from those who wouldn't be able to hear it.
And we've got to
then you disseminate it out. And you've got to be willing to make people uncomfortable, and you've got to be willing to make yourself uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know, like, if I know most of you haven't spent the last several years of your life putting really uncomfortable
and
things
some
out
people
there
probably on here have, but not everybody, right? So I know a lot of people on this have known for a long time, have been studying this stuff for a long time, but maybe aren't super actively haven't been super actively speaking it out for a long time, because it's like, it's such a hassle. People are arguing with you. Your family members are upset. You know, I'm hearing behind the scenes how frustrating this is, right?
You put out one, you know, you feel passionate about something and you're like, everybody's going to understand this. And you put it out there, and you're like the first person that comments is like,
yeah, it's hard.
And then you're like, oh God, really? Like, you don't even understand, right? And so it's hard, you know. But anytime you're thinking, okay, if I post this, okay, this person's not going to like it, that person's not going to like it. Okay, basically, you know, what we talk about in 5D business school is who still owns you.
Mm-hmm.
And so if there's somebody that you're about to post something kind of edgy, and you're like, oh, I hope that person doesn't see it, or they're gonna think something about me, that person owns you, right? So you've got to make sure that, okay, that's when you send it out. And that's really where you get to decide who your friends are and who your friends aren't, you know?
No.
And, you know, luckily, you know, we had a business for 5 years called Explosive Sexual Healing, speaking about sexual healing and G-spot orgasm and all kinds of crazy stuff. And so, you know, we had the burn.
We had to let it go. We had to let it go.
On.
And it doesn't mean it still doesn't drive us nuts and irritate us, because we have egos. We're human, right? I think we're human. It's going to get to you sometimes, you know. But, you know, here's the thing I really want to point out, and I really want to hammer this in, and I really want to emphasize it, is that truth is a much higher vibrational frequency than lies. Now, the masses are like barking, like regurgitating lies that they're hearing from, you know, MSM and Snopes Fact Check, which is just don't get me started on Snopes Fact Check.
Snopes is for dopes.
Snopes is like I don't even know where to start with it. These are crimes against humanity, but it's also really entertaining to me. So, but my point is that.
Can you imagine a court case that's like, well, it says
Hold
here
on,
on
Snopes.
Snopes that Hillary Clinton did not do those things, so case closed.
Let me just press, I can go back to sleep. Let me just press the snooze button and go back to sleep, right? You know, the thing is that the truth is so much more powerful than the lies, and it's weaker. It is a weak vibration. So the people that are regurgitating stuff that they've heard, that haven't really thought about it, which is all of them that are regurgitating. If they're regurgitating it, it means they're enslaved and they're not using their brains for critical thinking. Now, that's not their fault. They've been brainwashed. They've been vaccinated. They've been fluoridated. They've been chemtrailed. They've been indoctrinated. I mean, we know what these people have been through. We've been through it too, right? But it is weak. It is weak-mindedness. We need to not let weak-mindedness, like, no, I am not going to tolerate weak-mindedness in my field anymore. No. You know, I keep thinking about all the people in Nazi Germany that knew what was coming. They could feel it, but they were scared. What if they're coming for me? Okay? That is the energy that creates that fear energy of what if they're coming for me is the same energy that created Nazi Germany happening, that created the Holocaust. That's the vibration we need to get out of. The energy that's going to liberate humanity and that's going to liberate this planet is the energy of, you know what? I'm going to speak my truth. They are so outnumbered. They are so desperate. Desperate times call for desperate measures. That is repeating over and over again. Every time I go to meditation, desperate. Why are they doing this? Why would they be doing? They are desperate. They are desperate because timeline number one is becoming more and more and more and more inevitable, which means their 5D negative, their burn off is getting more and more and more inevitable. The more of us that step into 5D positive in an integrated way, the more inevitable their 5D negative becomes. So I want to speak about it really, really powerfully because we need to stand up. We need to rise up. We need to get loud. We need to have the uncomfortable conversations. I was on my phone last night for hours with my sister who's, you know, raised Catholic in the middle of the Midwest, disseminating this information to her so she can get it out to the rest of my family. Who is that person in your life? Yes, it's going to take you some time. Yes, it's going to give you a headache. Yes, it's going to frustrate you. But who's that person in your life that you know you need to speak to? And, you know, on our Facebook pages and stuff like that, we just got to get it out. You know, I'm hearing more and more people, what if I lose friends? Or what if I lose clients? Or what if, you know, somebody gets upset? They're going to thank you later. They're going to thank you later. They will thank you later, okay? God is going to thank you now. The angels are going to thank you now. Jesus is going to thank you now. The Galactic Confederation of Light is going to thank you now. You are going to thank you now because you're going to feel a lot better, right? Like it's a stronger frequency to hold. So I know you guys already know this. I know I'm preaching the choir, but I got to get it out because it's coming in so strong right now. Yeah.
Yep, that's good. So we do want to take some questions. So by the way, your comments are hysterical.
I love that.
And
Yeah,
awesome.
like
I'm glad you're feeling it. I'm glad you know what we're talking about here.
Thank you.
2 questions. Okay, this is good.
Great.
2 questions. Nicole's got 2 questions here.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think will happen with the vaccines, and how can we continue to stay connected with awake people as Facebook is now eliminating Q-supported groups? So here's the thing.
Great question.
You know, truth is getting shut down all over the place.
Yeah.
I mean, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook. I mean, it's getting shut down. Like, they're really clamping down.
Yeah, all the cabal sites are trying to shut it down.
And at a certain point, we are going to have to either, you know, there's really going to be 2 ways to protest. One is to go outside with a megaphone and protest. And, you know, if you look at Michigan, you know, there were some people that actually, you know, took their guns and stormed the Capitol building there, and the politicians had to put on bulletproof vests, and I said, good. Freaked out.
Good. Yeah, good.
So-
They should be concerned.
And by the way, that is the time that if that happens, it is going to be you out there with a megaphone.
Yep.
You.
Yep.
Not waiting for somebody else.
Yep.
You. The speaker.
Yep.
The leader.
Yep.
The healer.
Yep.
The mouthpiece. The truth teller.
Yep.
The one that knows what's going on. It's you. So
Yep.
I want you to plant this seed that when you go to a protest, either bring your own megaphone or find one there. Look for a way to lead. There's not going to be anybody. There will never be somebody that is going to say, "Oh, hey, you look like you've got something to say. Would you like to take the megaphone?" They're not just going to grab some random person.
And those of you that are
You got to go
speakers,
take it.
those of you that are speakers, Carol, you're one, right? Nicole's one. We got a lot of speakers on here.
Carol's loud.
Those of you that are speakers, you know how to grab a microphone and just start talking. That's what needs to happen. What do? That's what we do right now.
Don't worry. Don't you dare worry until you have something to say.
No.
Don't wait to grab that microphone or that megaphone or that mouthpiece or stand up on that wall and start using your voice. Don't wait until you've got something to say. Mm-hmm. You got to get up there. That's all you got to do is figure out, okay, where am I supposed to go? Who am I supposed to talk to? How am I supposed to do this? And then you go do that thing, and then you open your mouth.
Yep.
And then you see what comes out. That's it.
And study your constitutional rights. I think that's really, really important right now. Study. Know your constitutional rights. I recommend looking up a good constitutional lawyer. There are a lot of great constitutional lawyers in your state or in wherever you're located. I actually looked one up today and got one just in case I needed to give him a call. I was like, oh, this guy. So I actually found him in the news. I went, oh, this guy just won a great court case. Great. I'm getting his number because if I need it and something goes down,
don't get intimidated.
Talk to my lawyer. Talk to my lawyer. Know your rights because our rights are being violated. Also, horribly.
Be willing to get arrested.
Yeah, be willing because they are letting people are getting arrested, but they're I'm seeing more and more that they are getting. This is gonna everything that they're doing right now is gonna come back to bite them in the ass. It really, really is. Everything that they're doing that is unconstitutional is going to come back to bite them in the ass. But we need to get loud. So what can we do? Yeah, we need to speak up as loud as we can on as many places as we can and just be real. Sign the petitions. Notice the petitions that are going around. There's a ton of petitions going around on Facebook, and sign them. I'm signing petitions, multiple petitions every day that I'm like, no. Here's another one. If you like Trump, if you trust Trump, even if you don't like Trump, okay, he is our president, okay? He's got a bunch of surveys going around right now. On those surveys, and you can even get them sent. I'm getting them directly sent to my phone. I'm doing multiple ones a day sometimes, okay? You too. Oh my gosh, I love this. You can put on there, if there's something that you don't like that he's doing, you can literally, there's a thing where you can write in there, what do you want to see, right? And so I go, look, I support our president. I like saying that. I do support our president, but I also like saying that because, look, he wants to win the 2020 election. Right? He wants to, this isn't like, I'm not stupid. He wants to win the 2020 election. So here's the thing. I support Trump fully. And I am completely anti-vax. I do not want to hear about vaccines, right? I completely appreciate.
Not until they get their shit together.
I completely appreciate that he.
Not until we can trust their information and they've been tested and they're safe.
Well, I'm just speaking my truth. You guys can speak your truth. Here, I'm just saying what I'm putting out there. I was a special ed teacher for over 10 years. I've heard one too many stories about vaccines, okay? I really have, you guys. And everybody's entitled to their own opinion on it, but I do have a strong opinion on it. I just do. So what I'm saying is if there are key topics, and I speak up about the vaccine thing because it's near and dear to my heart. But if there are key topics that you're like, hey, I don't want, the WHO funded. I don't want the vaccines. I don't want Bill and Melinda Gates dictating our school system. Why are they talking about our school system and our vaccines? This is insanity,
and
right?
Our food supply.
And our food supply. We need seeds.
Get your fingers out of my.
Seeds are essential. Seeds should be sold. They're
Get your
essential.
fingers out
right?
of my naughty places.
So I am like
Mr.
writing.
Gates.
Yeah, no, I'm
Oh
feel,
my
you know,
God.
fill out as much as you can.
Out of control.
Educate people as much as you can, because here's the thing. The more people that wake up, it's game over. If we just all woke up, if we just all knew that this was wrong, right? Wake up your neighbors. Game over. It's game over, guys. It's game over. It really, really is. It's game over.
You are the special forces.
We're the special forces. We are the special forces for this planet. It's us. It's us. Nobody's, yes, we have help. Yes, we have support, but nobody's going to do our job for us. This is our job. This is our role right now. I really believe that. Yeah.
Cool, cool. All right. Who's got another question? Raise hand, raise hand.
Raise hand. Oh, great. Okay.
You're so smart.
I love it. Oh, that's good.
Go.
That's good.
Let's see here. And all right. Hi, Cynthia.
Hey, Cynthia.
Hi.
Hey.
Okay. I would like to ask you some questions about the children that are being saved from the situations with the sex trafficking and demonic type of stuff.
Yep.
The ones that have been helped so far and taken from the situations, where are they going and how are they being supported healing wise? And from
That's a really good question, and I'm not sure. And I don't want to answer false information because
We can't find any information about it.
I've heard a lot of different things going around. I think a lot of us are hearing a lot of different things. I intuitively feel it. So I very much believe that it is real and it is happening because I feel it emotionally. I feel things on emotional body levels. So I believe very strongly and very firmly that this is happening on a global scale as we speak right now. I also feel very strongly, so I'll just tell you what I'm getting in psychically, okay? What I'm getting in psychically is that I feel that this is way worse than anybody thought it was gonna be, okay? It's overwhelming. I feel the overwhelm of you know, the military force that's on this, the doctors and nurses, the psychologists. It looks like Nicole's got some information.
So I want to say really quick. So of course, you know, for most people, it feels like speculation. For most people, it feels like, okay, I read an article or I heard something or whatever. For Jen, she feels it psychically. She feels it energetically. She feels it on a body level. It's unmistakable. She's connected with these kids psychically, right? She's connected with them. She's inside their heads. She's inside the heads of the military people that are going in and rescuing. She's also in the heads of the people that have been perpetrating these horrible things.
Which is a really bizarre place to be.
So
it's really
she's
bizarre.
inside everybody every step of the way. So it's not just like kind of like a speculation. I mean, she's like, there are days where she is on the floor. I mean, she has to go meditate all day in the closet in here because that's the only quiet place in our house that we're staying at right now. And then, you know, we find out, oh, they've been doing these missions all day, right? And she's in there doing her part.
Right.
And so, you know, this stuff, we know it's happening because she doesn't just have these, you know, this information come through and this, I mean, it doesn't just happen out of nowhere. Like it's.
And I think, thanks, honey. And you know, I think a lot of us on this call are very empathic and very intuitive. We all, you know, disseminate or feel or interpret information maybe slightly differently. But I think a lot of us on this call are feeling that and have been experiencing it, right? So, you know, that's been my experience. And I do feel that a lot of us have been called to help, you know, with moving this energy. So again, that's why I always say, please check in. You know, if you're feeling moody out of nowhere, or you're feeling really emotional out of nowhere, and you're like, I don't even know what's going on with me. Am I losing my mind? Am I going crazy? No, I don't think you're going crazy. I think you're probably on assignment to help move this energy, right? That's what I've been told by my higher guidance. You know, they say, look, no, you actually were told, you know, you actually signed up to do this to help because it's too much. It's over. They're in overwhelm. They can't handle it. So you come in to help move the energy on a planetary scale. So I think a lot of us have been feeling that. my sense is that it's way worse than they anticipated. My sense is there are, unfortunately, and I'm just going to share this, and this is just my sense, this is just my intuitive sense, is that there were many more that were unfortunately dead than they that was pretty yucky. There were
they weren't able to save.
Yeah, that they weren't able to save, and I think
too frail.
I think that was pretty heartbreaking. I think there were some really, really heartbreaking things that have gone on. I don't really fully understand the details of it, but I've been experiencing the emotional. I get things on an emotional level. Things run through my physical body. Okay, is the main. And I do see things too sometimes, but that's the main thing. My sense is that these kids are not going to be able to go back into, like, I don't see them just like getting adopted really quickly or something like that, because there's so much trauma. The trauma is so deep. And even for those that have worked with a lot of, have a lot of experience in sexual trauma and things like that, this is like beyond, what I'm, so I don't know exactly where they're bringing them, but my sense is that they're bringing, they're going to need psychological help. They're going to need a lot of prayer. They're going to need energy healing. Like, they're going to need to be physical healing, of course, right? Physical, mental, emotional, spiritual healing. And that this is going to take some serious time. And I also feel like it's highly likely that it's going to take them some time, quite a bit of time, to release this to the public, because it's so catastrophic. It's so heavy. It's so bizarre also that the mainstream isn't even ready to hear, basic truth right now. I just don't think that the mainstream would be able to even hear this, digest it, or process it. And so I actually feel like they're not releasing it yet to the mainstream, because it would, again, energetically just be too much to deal with. That's my intuitive sense on it.
So the other thing to think about as well, so it's not just the kids that are being rescued, but it's also, they're the kids. So all the people that are going to be arrested, they've got kids.
Right.
All the bloodline families, whether they're the celebrities or those in power, or, the politicians, the world leaders, that are going to be arrested, they've got kids to think about too. I mean, if you look at, like, people say they wish they could go back in time and take out baby Hitler, like, there are some baby Hitlers out there too. These people have been born and bred into it, so it's like, what do we do with their kids? They might be a sweet little kid now, but they're making the kids do blood rituals, and
it's so hard to know. This is something I think we really need to pray about. I think that this is something that is going to require a lot of prayer, because it's complicated. It's really complicated. Yeah. And these kids have been, unfortunately, many of them, indoctrinated and born and bred, to take over the New World Order, even at a very young age. And so, I mean, this is, I don't know what's going to happen with that. It's something that I don't see a lot of people talking about yet, but it has been kind of running through my head. What do you do in this situation?
Yeah, because I mean, if we just let them grow up and do their own thing, they're gonna do it all over again. Yeah. So we don't really know what to do with it. But anyway, something else that'll probably come through us at one point, or maybe you'll have some ideas.
Yeah.
All right, who's next? Questions. These are really good comments too, you guys.
Yeah, the world's going to lose a lot of trust. Exactly. This is like, thanks, Nicole. This is shattering people's entire realities. People's entire realities are being shattered. And, I think every single human on the planet is going to realize at one point or another that they had at least one person, and often multiple people, that they falsely idolized. And I think that we're all coming to terms with that. It's really, really intense. It's different people for different people. It might be a celebrity for one person. It might be Oprah for another person. It might be the Pope for another person. It might be, but there's like somebody that we falsely idolize. And this is coming down really hard. And, for those of us who are adaptable and resilient on birth and death, and we've done it, and we're like, okay, well, that person too. All right. But for those that have never had their reality shattered, for those that are going through the transition from 3 to an abrupt 5, this is going to be really, really intense. And that's why those of us who are in the know, this is why I keep saying we've got to transition really solid into 5 or higher integrated right now to be able to hold for the rest of the planet.
Can you explain 5? Can you explain that?
Yeah, 5 is young spiritual adulthood. 5 is speaking your truth. 5 is being lucid in the dream. 5D in my definition of it is we have got to speak our truth and not let go of doing it right. It's baby Bodhi too. So you got to let go of doing it right and doing it perfect. None of us are going to do it right or perfect right now. I think we've all got to let that go.
Say what you mean about baby Bodhi.
Baby Bodhi. I call it baby Bodhi. So we call 7D like the Bodhisattva or the Ascended Master or the, your highest.
It's like you've got a certain amount of power as an enlightened master that you can go do things, but they didn't just start that way. They started, as they're working their way up, and they find some power, and then they kind of break some stuff, or they break some people's minds, or they, so Jen and I realized this about ourselves when we moved to Costa Rica 4.5 years ago, and we started just boom, 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 like thunderbolts all over the place.
I couldn't hold it back. It was like a flood. I couldn't, it was just coming through me. I couldn't hold it back.
Well, we're kind of like baby Bodhis, baby Bodhisattvas, right? We're just like walking around, we don't really know our own power, and we're just like breaking stuff and knocking over people's blocks. And
we definitely don't always do it right.
That's how you learn, you got to try your best. And, like we're here for a mission, but you don't just go from not trying to being perfect.
So the thing that I see a lot of people wanting to do is a lot of people want to spiritually bypass 5 because it is uncomfortable, because it is young. You don't want to be a young spiritual adult. I want to be a mature spiritual adult, right?
I don't want to go through people telling me I'm wrong.
Right. So a lot of people will spiritually bypass and try to fake 7 when they didn't actually go through 5 or 6, right? So they'll just try to skip to 7. And 7 is like when you're regurgitating things that, sound really enlightened and really spiritual, and you're in like really spiritual speak, and it all sounds really beautiful and sounds really nice, but like
it's got no teeth.
It's got no teeth.
It's got no bite.
It's got no bite.
It doesn't really move you.
No, it's not.
Really
it's not that's because it's not integrated, right? So in
doesn't
order to
really
get there,
affect you on a body level.
Yeah. And of course, it's where we're all going. It's like the X marks the spot on like, where do we want to go? Yeah, we want to be that spiritually mature person, right? But I really believe that in order for us to get there, we can't skip steps. And we've got to go through young spiritual adulthood, which is uncomfortable. It's like,
actually, hold on. So, hey, Jonathan and Mel. So I was talking to Jonathan today, and Jonathan was talking about, so Jonathan's got this marketing campaign going for his thing, and it's like really successful. And he was telling me about this, we were talking about this today, and he was saying that there's this study that they did where, actually, Jonathan, I'm going to pull you on. Can you just explain it? Since I don't have to butcher it. Where the heck are you? All right, there you go. All right. You know what I'm talking about, right? The red, green, blue?
Yeah, sorry, we're a little dark in here, but yeah, so the study, they did a marketing study where they had a marketing campaign, and they had people say, okay, give it a red flag, a green flag, or a yellow flag. Red flag means you hated it. Green flag says, oh God, I absolutely loved that. And yellow flag is, didn't do anything to me. So when they did that study, if you got a green flag, you also got red flags. If you got a yellow flag, it was yellow flag. So the only way to get a green flag, you have to get red flags in order to get green flags. So you have to get people hating it in order to get people who absolutely love it. So I've got a marketing campaign going right now, and I'm telling you, like, people are ripping each other to shreds on the marketing campaign. But
that's 5D. That's 5D. You're going to polarize positively and negatively. Yep.
I've had 440, last I checked, it was 440 shares of my ad.
Great.
This is people, an ad, and 440 shares of an ad. So, but it's polarizing. There's some people who burn me at the stake, and some people are like, oh my God, this is incredible. I've been waiting for you my whole life, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Good job. Good job. I love that.
For those of you that don't know, John and Mel are staying at our resort in Costa Rica, Synergita, and they're buying 91 acres of our property to partner with us and to do their own community, because them and all of their people that they're bringing in are realizing, oh, this is why investing money into physical land in Costa Rica with clean air, clean food, clean water is useful. We can also get all the toilet paper you want, by the way.
But they got bidets. They got bidets everywhere here, so you don't need it.
Bidets
That's
everywhere.
right.
You got
We got
bidets.
bidets in every room.
You've got bidets. You've got the 6th cleanest water source on the planet, and it's private water. You've got food, 1,000 mature fruit trees on the property. You've got, a private garden, right? You've got clean air. I mean, these are things that people should be valuing for. I've been talking about this for years, but I think people are starting to get more
Yeah, so Jonathan
why
and Mel,
it's so important.
they flew into Costa Rica the day the airport closed. So when all this stuff started going down with COVID, they were like, I'm out of here.
Mhm.
I want a good place to quarantine. And so they're like riding horses and swimming in waterfalls.
And trust me, we'd rather be there, but I asked my guides
we'd
3
rather be
times.
with them.
I asked 3 times. We had three opportunities to leave and go, and we knew what was coming, and they said, no, you're supposed to stay. We need you on the ground floor. Sorry.
Yeah.
Highest and best timeline. So we really, Ben and I really try to, we don't always do it right, but we really try to surrender to what we're told. Trust me, I'd rather be in Costa Rica right now, but we'll get there soon.
Thanks,
we'll be
Jonathan.
there soon.
Yeah.
I love that.
Hey,
Yeah,
we got like 20 people literally ready to get on a boat and hop on a boat and sneak in the country.
Sneak
like,
in,
literally,
get to the shore and sneak in.
There's no
that's
joke.
actually really smart.
Yeah,
That's
right.
actually really, really smart.
If they come out around the Caribbean side, they can pick us up.
Yeah. Let us actually keep us in the loop on that, because that's actually a really good idea.
Yeah.
Right.
It wouldn't really be a big deal to do there, I don't think.
Yeah,
actually.
so they've already raised about $700,000 to start their community, and that was from their event last week, and they've got another one going.
And Costa Rica land, especially in the area
Fast.
we're in, is really a great investment. I mean, we've already seen it almost
Our
double.
property value has doubled in the
It's
last 2 years.
It's about doubled in 2 years' time, you guys. And I was told this, again, we were told this years ago. We were like, the land value is going to go up, and it has. And it has, and it's going to continue to go up too. It really is a great
Plus,
investment.
just the peace of mind of being able to have a place like that to just go and all right, everyone's nuking each other. The humans didn't get it. The humans didn't get it fast enough. All right, well, I guess we got to wait this one out.
I see, energetically, I see the Galactic Confederation light. I just see them. They're just sitting there, holding. Okay, we are holding this back for. We're not going to let them completely decimate you. Okay, we're holding this. Can you guys get the ground floor? Can you guys get the ground floor? We can't come down and meet with them and awaken them. We tried that before. It doesn't work.
We're I don't know. We're feeling pretty useless too, but.
Yeah, yeah. I love what you just said, because again, this is a lot of the stuff that we talk about in 5D business school, right? And that we go into really, really deep, is that these universal laws are so important. And again, when you step into 5D is when you're going to get really, really, the more you sync up with the truth of who you are, the stronger vibrationally you're going to be. And it is like moss to a flame. And the more magnetic you're going to become to that which is aligned, and the more repulsive you're going to become to that which is not aligned. And that's so important to understand, because to me, it's such spiritual bypass language to go, well, you upset somebody, so what are you doing wrong? You must be doing it wrong. And you need to really analyze yourself. To a certain extent, yes, that is a 4D thing. In 4th dimension, which is spiritual adolescence, we need to look at ourselves. We need to go inward. We need to evaluate, what part am I responsible for? Where's the mirror? Yes, that is an important rite of passage. I'm not saying there isn't a time and a place to look at that. But what I'm saying and what I'm seeing is that a lot of people get stuck in that, and that's not 5D. Young spiritual adulthood, you start to know who you are, you start to know your role, you start to know your mission, and you just go, look, this is what I'm here to do. This is what I know who I am. I know what I'm here to do. And I'm going to speak my truth unapologetically, as kindly as I can, but I am not going to back down. And I believe that that's the transition that we're moving into, which is spiritual adulthood into spiritual maturity, right? That's really what we're being called into right now. Because we have to pave the way. We have to pave the way for the masses. How else can the masses possibly get there? They have right now, the masses have they don't even know what it looks like. We've got to pave the way for them. We've got to show them. Mainstream isn't going to show them. We've got to pave the way. It's why we're here, right?
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right.
Do we have any more questions? Anybody else have a question? Raise hand.
Let me see here.
And these can be personal too. I mean, it can be bigger things. It can also be personal.
Question. You know,
Yeah,
we
love
don't know everything
personal.
that's going on in the world, but
Yeah.
like Fiona asked, can we talk about what Trump actually meant for us to prepare this week for hurricane
You
season?
know, I'm really interested in that. So I'm seeing a lot of the emergency broadcast system. Has anybody on this call had it? I've seen a lot of people with the emergency broadcast system thing is popping up in different places on TV. So there is something going on. Yeah,
They're preparing for something.
there's something going on, and I do feel like
we just keep missing these deadlines. We keep thinking something's going to happen, and then nothing happens.
Well,
we're thinking something's going to happen, and then nothing happens.
I feel like there's a lot of pushback also. You know, this is a war. It is a war. You know, it really is. You know, so I don't know what's going on exactly behind the scenes. I do feel like it felt to me like a coded message saying prep for something. Prep. You know, get ready.
The storm is upon us.
Yeah, prep. And what do you think about David Wilcock?
Yeah, David Wilcock saying we have 3 days of darkness with our phones and internet. So I don't know. I don't know if he's been co-opted. I don't know if he's getting bad information. I don't know if it was good information, best efforts, and then it didn't.
And then
happen
something
for
got happened.
one reason or another.
It's hard to know right now. It really is. He might have gotten that information and then something might have changed. Yeah, I don't want to judge either, because it's, again, I'm hearing more and more that the darknet is being.
Well, so here's why we don't want to judge, because it takes a lot of guts
to speak on it,
to speak your truth,
yeah,
and to say, look, here's what I know. I'm trying to prepare you. I mean, here's the thing.
It's true.
For people like David Icke, who have been, talking about his stuff for the last 30 years, he's been holding this weight for 30 years, and he's been, going off and wherever he's going and doing whatever he's doing, and but it's like, okay, once this stuff has happened, then it's easy to post about it and be like, oh, here's what happened, share,
right?
But like when you're the one that's saying, hey guys, here's what's coming, hey guys, we're going into 5D, here's what you're gonna have to look out for. It takes a lot of guts to put your neck on the line. And this is the thing about being a futurist or being a clairvoyant and making a prediction. So I remember about 4.5 years ago, I started a radio show called The Futurists with a friend of mine who is a futurist. And he was saying at one point, I saw a post he was making he made on Facebook, and he said, look, make a prediction. I dare you. I dare you to make a prediction. People are so afraid to, put their ass on the line and make a prediction. Yeah, because you don't want to be wrong. But that's a futurist's job. That is a psychic's job, is to make a prediction. And the only way to make a prediction and to have it come true and say, look, I said this was going to happen, is to make a prediction and put your ass on the line. And I've had a bunch of those myself over the last few months, that I've made a prediction and then it's come true exactly like it said. I've also been wrong a couple times.
That's true on both accounts.
But,
right.
But the thing is, when you actually start taking a stand for something, anything, it doesn't matter. If you don't like so like Fizz the other day, like our last call, Fizz didn't like something we said. We were talking about the Beatles and imagine all the people, right? Imagine there's no heaven, and we were talking about that song, and he didn't like it. So, he didn't like what we were saying about it. So he was inspired to go make his own video about it. And he didn't mention us or anything like that, but he was inspired to make, and I listened to it and I was like, oh, he's got some good points. I still believe my,
Yeah, but if we say something and you don't agree with us, go activate and go share it to your people.
I told him afterwards, I said, that was the most clear I've ever heard you in a video. You sounded grounded. You sounded good. You sounded integrated, dude. Good job, man. More power to you.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing, is make a prediction, take a stand. No, that we don't have, this is not a time for lukewarm people.
Right.
This is not a time to be afraid of being wrong. This is not a time to be afraid of offending people.
Right.
This is not a time to be afraid of losing friends or having people upset with you. This is the Great Awakening.
Right.
You know, so what do you have coming through you that's a unique insight that you have, that's a unique point of reference that you have, a unique point of wisdom and understanding and knowledge from your experience in the past, your life experience, plus your studies, your research, your current interests that allow you to have this amalgamation of information with, you know, your opinion and your ego. Yes, your ego can really serve you. And don't listen to anyone that says, oh, that's just ego talking. Fuck that. Our egos are a very important part of who we are that add the spice of life.
I'm not AI. I'm not AI. I'm a human in a body.
You're not going to
I'm
get
not
me.
AI.
Have you ever listened, like, do you guys ever listen to anyone online that just doesn't have an ego and you're like, oh, this person has no ego? You know, no, I don't know anybody. I'm not going to wait to get my information from somebody that doesn't have an ego, you know. Just get someone that's, you know, listen to someone who's comfortable with who they are and comfortable with their ego and knows how to, and it is in truth.
I see it as knowing your role. It's like if we were all actors in a play, right? And this was the play of life, and this was the Great Awakening play of life. This was the best show on really in the galaxy and superverse happening right now. What is your role? How can you play that role fully? You know, how can you be it fully? Because we didn't come here to be, you know, yes, we can have pieces of enlightened information, of course, right? But if we came here to be, you know, completely enlightened, descended beings, we wouldn't be in this physical form, you know, and if we came here to be, you know, boring, we would be AI. Like, no, we're humans in bodies, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, Leah. I know you weren't.
Yeah.
I know you weren't bad mouthing David. So I just wanted to say that.
No. Yeah.
Okay, so I like this one. How do we lead people when we get a lot of pushback when people throwing around science and MSM articles? So I mean, we've honestly gotten to the point where, you know, I got a lot to do. I got a lot to do in my life. I got a lot to, like, you know, Jonathan and I are on the phone, you know, 2-3 times a day trying to get this deal done. I'm on the phone with his investors. I'm on the phone with my business partners. I'm on the phone with our investors. Like, you know, like we've got clients, you know, we got a lot to do. I don't have time to give people a free education on Facebook, even though that is why we're here. So, you know, so we take the information that comes to us, you know, we put out something that's aligned, but you're never going to see me sitting there and arguing with somebody on Facebook and going back and forth. And there are times where I'll post something and then I'll let my friends take care of it. You know, like if somebody posts an article or something, I might post a meme or something. You know, I found that's like the easiest thing is I just like save a bunch of memes in my arsenal.
He does. He's got a bunch of funny memes and then he's like, oh, this one's perfect.
Or else I'll just do like I'll do like a one-liner or something, or, you know, I'll just do like a one-liner and then like, I won't even think about it. I'll just do a one-liner and then like, you know, I'll see my notifications that they commented back or somebody commented. I'll go look back. I'll forget about my one-liner and she just hears me dying laughing sometimes. She's like, what? And I'm like, I'm just cracking myself up, right?
So it's like a truth.
So you gotta have fun while you're doing it. You know, don't get sucked into the drama. You know, if somebody's being too confrontational or too shitty, you know, delete the post, block them, you know, do what you gotta do.
Yeah, and you have the right to do that on your domain.
You can, like, you guys, you can change your entire timeline. You know, the information that's coming to you, you can cultivate that. You know, and so like Jen was saying, 4D is information collecting from both sides.
Right.
You know, at a certain point, you're like, okay, I've made up my mind. I've got enough information. I don't need all this crap. I don't need to watch MSM anymore. I don't need it anymore. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah, I tend to, you know, it depends on who it is and what specifically they've said. I tend to not argue at all on my Facebook just because I don't like the back and forth energy that goes on. It gets really catty and weird and it creates a lot of weird energy. So if it's somebody that's being respectful, that's just like trying to figure something out, I typically just don't address it there and I will private message them and I will just speak truth. But when I'm speaking truth, I'm not in it to prove, like, I'm not like doing I don't come from a place in what I'm doing of like, oh, let me prove this to you. Hold on, let me cite this. Let me like, no, I just say, look, this is what I believe. This is who I am. I've studied this stuff for a long time. Here's what I believe, take it or leave it. You know, I recommend if you haven't looked at this, and 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 this, Google it, you know, and come to your own conclusion. And I'll typically say something like, look, I'm happy to agree to disagree with you on this, but I'm not going to argue it at this point, you know, and here's why I take this stand on it. One of the things that I've noticed a lot is that a lot of people that are waking up who haven't shared for a long time, or, you know, they just kind of share little things or whatever. They will just share somebody else's thing or somebody else's meme or somebody else wrote this.
Yeah, they won't stand in anything.
So I really want to, and that's actually one of the big reasons. I actually love when you guys share on our page too, and you share different things that show up, but that's actually one of the biggest reasons I encourage you. The majority of the things that you're sharing on your Facebook page, write it yourself. Put your own energy into it. Put it in your own words, in your own language. Stand up for what you believe, okay? And if you want to put some facts in there, go ahead. But this doesn't have to be an essay that you're getting graded on. To me, the vibration of truth, if you're in your truth and you're just like, hey, this is what it is, and I'm laying it out there, you know, that vibrationally speaking is so much more powerful, you know? So, and if you get in the habit of doing that, you're going to start to weed out some of these people that are just not ready to hear it. And you're also going to start to get the attention of some of the people that are like, huh, that's interesting. I never heard it that way. I'm a little confused right now. Can you explain to me what's going on? But you've got to be consistent. If you're just putting out other people's stuff, or you're just putting out random memes, most people aren't going to be able to hear you, and they're just going to argue, because you're coming at it from a 3D or 4D perspective primarily. To start speaking, see, 5D, you guys, 5D, 6, 7, 5, 6, and 7 is where the power's at. 5, 6, and 7 is where all the energy on the planet's going. 5, 6, and 7 is where your businesses are going. Your life purpose is going. Everything is transitioning. Planetary consciousness is shifting into 5D. So if you want to get a different response in general, and you're still going to get the haters, you're going to get the haters, you're going to polarize, you just got to deal with that, right? You got to be, okay, it's coming. It's okay. I'm ready. I'm prepared. But to get those haters, you're also going to get the people that come in and are like, oh my gosh, thank you. Oh, I've been thinking the same thing, and I didn't even know how to say it. You know, so does that make sense? I don't know if Amy, if you have any other questions around that or
Yeah, she said good feedback.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
And by the way, Jonathan, I tagged you and Melinda on the meme list. I haven't checked in on it in a while. It looks like people have been posting their own memes. There's like 155 shares on it. If you guys just scroll down, I posted like 70 memes the other day.
The memes are fun too.
Meme dump.
Memes are fun
Those
to
will
just,
help you
when you're just like going through other people's things, to just go like, oh, that's fun. Spread the love. Spread the love.
I think
spread truth.
Because what they do is like, you know, if somebody's like, well, I don't, you know, do you have a, I need proof. I need, you know, first, I mean, sometimes I'm like, it's not my job to prove anything to you. I'm not, that's not why I'm here.
I've even said it's not my job to do your homework for you.
I'm not here to prove anything.
Yeah,
I'm just here to give a perspective.
I did my own homework.
I'm here to connect the dots for people that already have the dots. You know, I'm not going to sit here and educate you, you know, but I think my favorite meme and the most useful meme from that group is, it's Paul Revere on his horse riding up and saying, you know, saying they're coming. And he's saying, oh my gosh, yes. Oh, thank you. Oh, I want to talk about that in a second, Corey. It's Paul Revere coming up, and he's like, the English are coming. And that's it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the meme. The English are coming, and then the guy in the window is like, I need three mainstream media sources or something like that. Right. Sources, please.
Sources, please. Fact check.
We're like, come on, man.
Yeah.
All right.
And you know what? One of the biggest things is too. One of the biggest things I've really been really firm on this. People need to step into their own discernment and stop giving their power away. And if I'm having a real conversation with somebody, like if I just feel called to like voice memo them, I don't do this with everybody, but there's certain people that I'm like, you know, they kind of want to hear it, you know, so I'm kind of like weeding through people. You know, if somebody just wants to argue, I'm not going to waste my time. But one of the things is I go, look, you've got to understand that, and I'll say something like, you know, take it or leave it, but I'm going to speak my truth. Take it or leave it, but I'm going to speak my truth on this, you know. You've been lied to your entire life, you know, and so I encourage you to start to question everything. And MSM is owned, and follow the money, and start to look at the big game players, because there's a way bigger agenda going on here than meets the eye. And don't trust everything you hear. And you know what I mean? I'll just, whatever's kind of coming through me, but I'll just kind of speak truth, but I'm not like trying to prove it. I'm just going, look, like, open your eyes, open your eyes. Something's not right here. Something's not right with this, and this. Pay attention, you know, whatever's coming through. But I just kind of, I just kind of let it come through. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're looking for clients in your business too, you know, just like Jesus doesn't want to hang out with lukewarm people, you know, your clients don't want lukewarm people. They want people that are like, that catch their attention.
Right.
You know, and the people that are pissed off at what you say are not your clients, but the ones that say, oh my God, whoa, that was powerful. That's a voice that I trust. That's a voice that I would like to emulate. You know, I resonate with that. You know, those will be the people that'll sign up with you, right?
Right.
So Corey Michelle, she mentioned this was, I can't believe I didn't post this today. I posted too many other things. I try to space myself out today, and I think the big one for the day was Mickey Willis's video. Our homeboy Mickey Willis posted the
great.
Plandemic video. I posted that on my page. Check that out if you haven't watched it already. It's a 25-minute video about COVID. It's just the most concise, truest information.
Boom. Yeah.
But the other one, this was cracking me up. The president of Tanzania. Thank you. So they somebody sent him these COVID-19 tests, and so he tested a goat, a sheep, and a fruit, and gave them human names, and just put human names on them, and sent them back for testing, and all three of them came back positive.
Oh my God, that's a great story. I actually hadn't heard that one today. That's really good. That's
so
great.
I mean, I remember when the
awesome.
U.S. first got their tests.
It's
you know, remember U.S. It took a while for them to get their tests. When they first got their tests, which I believe were from you know, some company that was connected to Bill and Melinda, but they were the tests themselves were infected with
they had
coronavirus.
COVID. So if you didn't have it, you were gonna get it once it.
Like, are you kidding me? Like,
Crazy.
they just had coronavirus all over it. You know, they were dirty.
These people are psychotic. Yeah.
All right. Anything else, you guys, or are we done here? Any last words? Last words from you? Any last words from you? Anybody?
Any other questions? We do have some opportunities. Yeah, thank you all. We do have some opportunities for mentorship right now at a majorly discounted rate. So for those of you that know that, you know, most of you that already have a really solid business, but you know you're making a huge transition right now into 5D, that's really who this is for. So if you're interested in learning more, just send us a private message. I'm happy to share with you about the offer. It is a majorly discounted rate right now, and you know, we have a limited amount of people we can work with. So yeah.
Oh yeah, no, just talk with her about this. She'll light you up. She'll do things you've never seen before.
It's a fun co-creative process. It really is.
There are a lot of really powerful women leaders out there that, you know, just they don't have anyone that they can go to get support. It's like they're supporting everyone else and they don't know who they can go to for support. And then when they find somebody like Jen, who is, you know, strong and does not budge, yeah, they really feel safe with that and get some good freaking information too.
It's really fun. It's a fun journey. It's a 90-day process, and it's really activating. So I will get you in.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's really fun.
This is an important time, right? With 5D coming through. We've got 5D Business School, which, you know, is technically closed because we're on week 3. And so it's kind of hard to catch up. But you know, if you really wanted to get into 5D Business School late on this round, and you could probably do that, you know, keep up if you signed up with Jen. You know, we'd make sure that would happen too.
Yeah.
But I've got a really good, just message Jen if you've got any questions. I've got another really good question I'm just seeing from Garbear. I don't know if it's a name or a moniker, but hi. Hold on, actually, let me just scroll through and see who am I looking for here. Is there a face I can look at? Is your video on? Mr. or Mrs. Garbear. Okay, maybe not. All right, I'll just read the question. Maybe Jen will have some info. This is mainly a you question. I can start. I've got a. Oh, we're getting a wave. Getting a wave. Let me see.
You.
Where? I'm lost. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, do you feel like anything is landing? Meaning spiritual grounding.
Mm-hmm.
All my timelines are coming in slowly, and but finally grounding. So here's what I've noticed, and what we've both noticed with people like David Icke, even David Wilcock. We've been feeling it ourselves. You know, like I was saying, I noticed it with Fizz the other day, and I'm noticing this with a bunch of leaders, a bunch of mouthpieces, a bunch of spokespeople, a bunch of the people in the front line that have had to like, is anyone paying attention? Is anyone, you know, the baby bodhisattvas that are like trying to get everyone's attention are like, okay, so people are seeing this now, right? You all are seeing this too. All right, I don't have to yell. Okay, we can have a normal conversation about it. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? It's like, okay, we can like we're all starting at a certain level of information, right? Like we're all caught up to this level right here, right? And now there's still, you know, it's like, oh wow, we can talk about talking to ETs at this point because now they released the footage.
we've been talking, you guys. We've been talking about ETs for years.
We can talk about
you guys that know us, we've been talking about weird stuff for years. But it's getting more comfortable. It's getting easier, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I've noticed, you know, I've noticed with you like a deeper level of grounding because like we don't have to try to prove anything anymore. We don't have to have all this context. We don't have to talk about our childhood.
Right. You know? I don't have to tell my story. I don't want to tell my story anymore. Let's just talk about what's going on. You know? It's true. It's really true. I do think there's this big, you know, one of the things I've been experiencing this week is there's this really big separation happening. I feel like, you know, those of us that are, you know, we know we're in this world, but we're not of this world. I feel like that phrase is becoming more and more and more impactful and meaningful. And Ben and I were checking out, there's a movie from, you know, whatever, the 90s or something, where I don't know if you guys have seen it,
it's
but
called
it's like,
They Live.
You know, the guy puts on it's really cheesy. It's really funny.
Roddy Piper.
The guy,
he's got a pair of sunglasses that he finds.
Yeah.
And it's like he puts them on and the billboard turns to like
black and white.
So it's like this funny ad or you know, it's like an ad, a normal ad, not a funny ad. But he puts the glasses on, it just says obey, you know, and then, you know, it's like a normal person walking down the street and he puts the glasses on, they turn into like this like alien, you know, or skeleton with their like face melting.
Right.
And he's like looking at he's reading all these magazines and it's just like, you know, obey, consume, procreate. And then like he takes the glasses off and it's like a regular magazine. But like that's kind of how we feel. Like we're looking at magazines. We're like, oh my god, you just like throw it away.
Everything feels much more black and white. Yeah.
Political pundits. You know, it's just like
like truth and lies are becoming, I think, a lot more evident, even for those of us that have known for a long time.
So here's what we're really starting to realize now, and I was actually talking with Sabina Messner about this today, and I want her to come. She's had some really good intuitions about this, and I was hoping we could get her on tonight, but it was last minute before I thought of this, so maybe we can get her on next time. But you know, we've been hearing, you know, Jen and I were thinking this. I heard from her. I've heard it from a few people that said that, you know, in 2012, we had the opportunity to do basically what we're doing now. But just before that, The Secret came out and actually screwed up a lot because it really kind of screwed up people's understandings of light and dark. And, you know, so now we've got all the people that are like just spread love, just focus on the positive.
Love and light.
You know, don't look at all the negative stuff that's happening in real life, in physical 3D. You know, and we were kind of not really, you know, we allowed it for a little while. You know, we kind of thought, oh, that's an interesting
False light
perspective.
matrix. Yeah, I
yeah,
agree,
we try to
Leah.
stay as light as possible. But
and there is again in 4D, I just want to, there's different dimensional truths, although they're all interconnected. You know, in 4D there is an element, because you're coming out of 3, there is this thing of like, oh, I need to be able to focus positive, because when you come out of 3D, you don't even know how to focus positively. You don't even know how to override that negative voice in your head. So there is a time and a place for it. I don't want to completely throw out the baby with the bathwater, but it's spiritual adolescence is the problem. It's spiritual adolescence.
So what Jen and I have noticed, as soon as we kind of shifted our compass a little bit, so, you know, away from, you know, we weren't getting any decent information or support from those at the top of the transformational industry.
It's because they're all stuck in 4.
And as we were doing business with a lot of these people, we just got more and more frustrated, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like the people at the top of the top of the top, like, you know, these people, you look up to these people, you know?
Like a lot of these people were like people that we had always wanted to meet. You know, you're like, yeah, this has inspired me and changed my life. And then you meet them and you're like,
and we're like, we were so disappointed. And so we're like, okay, you know, we're not going to get any of the support we're looking for over here. So we got to switch, you know, we got to switch over here. And so we kind of switched towards, like, we switched our mindset and our focus away from spirituality, love and light, because it just pissed us off so much. And we realized how fractured that you actually get, you know, if you do that too long. Because now you're in gray area.
It's like being stuck in spiritual high school for life.
You don't know what's up and what's
you're
down.
You're meant to be in high school for
false.
4 years, you know?
And
like,
you can't actually get anything done.
You're not meant to be in high school forever. Like, spiritually, we're not meant to stay in high school. When you stay there, there's a lot of things that happen like this, you know. I could keep going.
So anyway, we shifted our focus back to Christianity, and back to that as kind of a single line of focus. And we're like, oh my God, I'm feeling how much time and energy is saved when I can just say good, bad, or as you know, in Course in Miracles, it's truth and everything else.
Right.
It's truth, untruth.
Right.
Truth, untruth.
Right.
Right. So, you know, there's no gray area.
Yep.
It's like there's truth and then there's no.
Right.
You know, there's truth and there's no.
Well, and the gray area has been screwing us up, because the gray area is, I think a lot of us are seeing this now, that gray area is actually just a slippery slope to hell. I'm going to be honest.
It is.
It's a slippery slope to hell. And I think that we're finally seeing where that, you know, has really been leading the whole time, you know, the master plan, right? Yeah. You know, the thing is, the awakened Christians, honestly, this was one of the things that really shifted a lot for Ben and I. And of course, some of the Christians have been, you know, infiltrated too. I'm not, you know, okay. But
every group's been infiltrated.
Every group's been infiltrated at different levels. And there's good and bad in all groups. So I just want to be, you know, clear on that. But what we started noticing is that there are a lot of awakened Christians that are really in action on the planet, doing it wasn't you guys, Ben and I have been in the Association of Transformational Leaders. Okay. That's like the secret group that you have to get a private invite to, with all the big names in the transformational industry that you guys know. Right. And nothing happens at those meetings except a bunch of hoorah rah and we're all great and yippee yippee, we're great, and we're all patting each other on the back. And then wait, we didn't actually do shit to change the planet. Nothing. Wait a minute, what did we just do for the past 3 days? Right? And so we really started to look at it and go, okay, like, who's here? We left.
I was on the membership committee
deciding
who gets in.
I said, I'm out.
We were founding members of the Association of Transformational
Leaders.
Leaders
It's just a waste of my
for
time.
all of Costa Rica.
Yeah.
And so we were the founding members, and so I was in the membership committee deciding who gets in. And so after I think 3 or 4 meetings, we quit. We got kicked out. For insubordination.
Well, yeah, I'm not gonna. It's wasting my time.
They wanted us to act differently, and you know.
And we weren't gonna do it. I was like, no. But But my point is that, you know, one of the things I started seeing, like a lot of these lawsuits, a lot of these petitions, not all of them, but a lot of these lawsuits that are going around against the cabal, a lot of these petitions, the Christians are heading.
Yep.
The Christians. It's the Christians, you guys. A lot of them. It's the Christians. Because they have the discernment from God. They know right from wrong. Transformational industry doesn't have it. That's been a huge aha for Ben and I, you know, and I'm really speaking up about it because I'm seeing what's happening in action. Yeah, who's actually standing up to the cabal? 9 times out of 10, people at the top of the page, the top of that lawsuit, the Christians.
Yep. And again,
the Christians,
and again,
you guys.
the Satanists,
Christians.
you know, they're doing rituals to counteract Christianity, upside
They
down
are.
crosses. You know, they're counteracting the Christians. They're going against the Christians. They're not going against Reiki.
They're not going against New Age. I'm a Reiki master, you guys, but I'm just saying they're not going. I'm trained in Reiki, okay? But
Reiki's not going to delete the Satanists.
No.
It's not going to save the kids. And actually,
No.
if you guys look at
No.
another thing that really had us
No,
go,
but
holy
Jesus,
shit.
no, but Jesus.
You look at like
is
the power
really
of prayer,
powerful.
like there's something
Really
that's called like
powerful.
spiritual warfare or like prayer warfare or something like
Yeah,
that. Can you talk about
atomic.
that?
You know, atomic power of prayer
Like,
is
if you look
one.
at some of these Christian,
Atomic power of prayer. And I'll put it up. I did have it up. Atomic power of prayer and prayer that rout demons. If you're up against some really heavy, dense energy, which is really, you know, when I started getting into, I was so overwhelmed, you guys, by this energy that was coming up with the kids. And I felt it. I literally couldn't move. I was just bawling. Okay. And I've got to tell you, love and light with this energy for me and what I was dealing with didn't cut it. I had to call on the blood of Christ. I had to go into, it was like deep spiritual warfare. So yeah,
pull out the crucifix.
Atomic power of prayer was a great one that I absolutely love and really recommend. Dr. Cindy Trim. I can post it.
It's on YouTube.
I can post it.
But-
and prayers
but
that rout
here's the
demons
thing, guys.
was
If
a
you-
big one.
if
And
you
it's
go-
like, it is because, here's why. Can I just explain a little bit more about it? Here's why. Here's what I noticed. When you speak, the Christians, okay, if you're on these sites, okay, the New Agers, a lot of them will be like, yeah, love and light, I'm, you know, setting intention or whatever, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? But energetically, it's still very weak. If you've got a really strong Christian, this is what I called up Ben's mom. I was like, I'm telling her what's going on. She's like, what? I'm like, yeah, Marina Bromvik, look her up. Adrenochrome, look it up. I'm like,
My
wait,
mom's like,
yeah.
I'm like, Mom, we need to team up for Revelation time.
Yeah, I'm like red pilling her,
She's
right?
like, give me the information. I'm like, great, teach us how to pray.
But his mom is like hardcore prayer warrior, like moves demonic energy, like hardcore. And I'm learning from her, like there's different things that we need to learn from each other right now. I really, really feel that. So this energy, when you've got a prayer warrior and they know how to pray and they know how to just go up against the principalities, the higher principalities, that it is so powerful, you guys. To me, it's the clearest transmission. It's the most powerful thing that I've experienced. And we've seen a lot. Ben and I worked with hardcore trauma, you know, with women for a very, very long time. We've seen some crazy stuff.
Yeah, and here's the thing: we've done some crazy stuff too, and we've
Yeah.
done, you know, I mean, we've taken groups of people through insane hypnosis, guided meditations where people are crying and people are shaking and people are having an experience,
Right.
and like we know how to move a room with our words, you know. And we used to do this at every group, that every speaking event we did,
Mhm.
no matter where it was, whether it was at a hotel or a somebody's
larger
house
event
or
or-
an event or
Meet up or whatever.
it doesn't matter what it was. We would do these really impactful things. But what we've realized is, you can do a lot with hypnosis, but these prayers, I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree.
when Jen was like,
Really
oh my God, are you
powerful.
seeing like how these people pray? Like when she was first starting to kind of really notice this stuff, and she's reading And these are just
It's
random
it's also
Christians
very
on the
specific.
internet.
No, they pray very, very specifically, like we're going to attack this. It's strategic spiritual warfare, essentially. And it's like, we're going to attack this. 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 It's powerful.
I'll give you one more piece.
And this is not just a regurgitated prayer that they learned. It's like, this is coming through them. If you've seen people that are really good at spiritual warfare, it is so powerful, you guys. It really is.
So I'll give you one more piece. And this is what kind of really like shook me was my parents sent me a video, and so, you know, I clicked on the video. It took me to YouTube, and it was kind of boring. But like a few videos down, I saw head of Satanist church talks about how Christ, you know,
recruited him.
Basically. And so this guy was the head of a Satanist church, and he was like, basically my term in the underworld, my title in the underworld was like, I was like the general of the dark side on earth. I was like Satan's general. And he was saying that, he was like, so like nothing happened except for through me. And I had a direct connection with Satan. And so basically he would go in. So the same way Jen goes into meditation and flies around the world and, you know, makes good things happen, right? And whispers good things into people's ears and stuff like that. He was going around, and he would have these districts where he would go around and he would plant fear and confusion and suicide and rage and he would like break up family values, and like this is what he would do on a daily basis.
Right.
And so he would go around, and he was like, I would just get in there. I mean, I don't know, you can probably find the interview online somewhere. But he was like, but there was one group I could never get to. And he was like, it was the special ops Christians. And they would just sit in a circle and pray. And they would pray these powerful prayer warrior prayers. He had the language for it. And he was like, I couldn't penetrate it. I couldn't get to them. Right?
That's power, you guys. That's power.
Yeah.
That's the real power.
So then, you know, how did he get recruited? Well, it was a girl. In his neighborhood, it was a woman invited him to church,
right? And
he asked Satan, "Hey, can I go to church?" And Satan said, basically, "Yeah, you're way more powerful than all these guys." So she took him to church, and like this possession came over him, and he picked up the preacher by the neck and held him up against the wall. And a bunch of people from the church came and grabbed him and then prayed for him. And like, and he said he felt love for the first time in his life. And then he went home so he went home, and he had this whole, you know, like he was torn inside because he had this identity of being like the head of, you know, this Satanist church. And then on the other side, you know, and like Satan's his father, right? And on the other side is like his other father, right? Father God, who is like giving him love. And so he thought, okay, I'm gonna kill myself, and then nobody can have me, you know? And so he went to kill himself, and then he said he was just overpowered by love. And so, I mean, that's a powerful energy. That's a powerful energy that I want on my side, you know?
Yeah.
So the amount, like there's a whole new level of power that we've kind of been able to tap into. And actually, I sent Jonathan this link too. There's this church that we look forward to every Sunday.
We love it.
It has a very pertinent message.
Yeah.
And
our pastor's really tapped in. I mean, he's really connected. He's not just like regurgitating stuff. He's non-denominational. But it literally lights us up and fuels us, you know, and it's been a long time for us. I mean, we went to a lot of churches that just to me felt dead.
Yeah.
You know? I
couldn't even step into a church for, I don't know, a decade or two.
Right. It was frustrating for us for quite a while, but yeah, you know, it's had a massive impact, you know, against me, just, you know, having a personal relationship with God the Father, I think is as we're dealing with all this dark negative energy, it's very, very powerful. It really, truly is. I think it's where the power's at. I really believe it.
All right, Amy, yeah. I'll bite Amy.
What's the bite?
Amy, she's asking a question that's going to polarize
with
our answer. Actually, do we have time? It's 1:40. I don't think we have time for this.
Well,
maybe we should get to this one on the next one. I don't think we have time for this. She says, why does it seem like the people who are asleep are the Democrats and the awake are the Republicans? Once I found out about the cabal 2 months ago, I switched more to Republican, and it's been a whole new experience.
right.
This might just be my awakening. This might just be my perspective, seeing both sides. But this awakening seems very divided from Republican and Democrat. Yeah. Yeah. No, oh, everyone's saying me too. So yeah. So okay, I'll just say it. We'll just say it.
Well, there are
We're
some
gonna do it. Yeah. No,
first
we
of
noticed
all,
that too.
there are some infiltrated on both sides. So I want to be really clear
Absolutely.
about that. You know, the cabal's infiltrated both sides. It's not black and white.
So here's the thing: the Republican Party, and here's the thing. So okay, we voted for Obama, and you know, we were like anti-Bush. And, you know, so we really got into
I didn't know Obama was evil at the time. We found that out later.
Yeah, we really got into like, okay, nobody should be discriminated against. You know, we both had a lot of friends that were gay, and we're like, well, everyone, you know, these Republicans that are saying don't have butt sex, and you know, you can't have anal sex. We're like, what is this? Yeah, we love anal sex, you know. And so
I don't speak for yourself. I don't actually know anything about that. This was before we were, but okay, go ahead. You speak. I don't know what with Obama.
I'm saying that like with our values that we had were like, you know, like everyone's equal, and that, you know, we should have like gay marriage should be legalized.
Right. It's a very California mindset too, actually. You know, Ben and I both, he's from California and I lived in California for years. And it is a very, very, it's strong in California. It's very, very, very strong in California.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but what we're realizing now is, so the thing that confused me the most, you guys, was when I started realizing that George Soros, destroyer of countries, like this guy he's an economic saboteur, George Soros. And this guy, so what he does is he goes into different countries. I mean, you can look it up. He's banned from certain countries because he goes into certain countries, buys up a ton of a stock or something like this, basically he's so wealthy, you know, multi-billionaire, he props up their economy, and then he makes a move and then collapses it, and with it the economy, and then he buys them up and he controls everything and he manipulates and he inserts his people. And this is what he does. And so he puts his influence everywhere. And so he's funding Antifa. He funded Black Lives Matter.
Right.
And so a lot of these
dividing people.
So he's funding quite a bit, actually. And so there's a lot of this stuff that seems like, you know, it seems on the surface like, okay, it's good, it's to help everybody, but it actually just confuses the shit out of everybody and divides everybody.
Right.
And so this is where
it all sounds so good. It's like they make it sound so appealing.
Yep.
Like they know how to speak to our psychological, like, I want everybody.
So when we
to
kind
get
of
along
stepped
with it.
back in, so when we got some Republican friends again, and we were like, oh, there's something so grounded about our Republican
and
friends.
You know
that are
what we
across the
started?
street.
Well, you know what we started noticing? Here's what I started noticing. They had clear. I started noticing a lot, and of course, this is true on both sides. Okay, but we started getting more Republican friends, and I started noticing that they had a clearer moral compass. That was one of the things. But it was like around family values. Like it was around like just basic interactions with our kids and things. I started noticing that there was a value structure shift, and that really piqued my interest. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, and a lot of the, you know, it is more of the Democrats that are the ones that are getting sucked into Epstein and the, you know, the child trafficking and the rapes and the sexual abuse and stuff like that.
Right.
You know,
and of course there are some good, I mean, some of my friends are Democrats and they're really good people. So I also don't want to throw,
of course.
Yeah, I just want to be super clear. I don't want to just black and white everything.
I mean, this is a whole new thing for us. I mean, this has been like over the period of like the last probably year that, you know, we were speaking about some stuff that, you know, some of our partners were like, yeah, you know, I'm a Republican, Christian, and
Mhm.
and we're like, oh wow. And she's like, and I can't even speak about this stuff. And we're like, huh. So we started asking questions, and then, you know, we started having people that we really respected have more information come through.
Mhm.
And then, you know, it's been kind of the last couple months that we've just been like, it's like night and day, black and white to us, where,
Yeah.
you know, and this is kind of what 5D is clarity. It's like heightened clarity. And so, you know, our consciousness kind of went into 5D when we moved to Costa Rica
Mhm.
4.5, 5 years ago. But now that the collective is also in 5D, everybody's polarizing. It's not just us polarizing
Which
a
is
bunch
really
of
exciting for us.
people who don't know
This
themselves.
is why it's like we've been so excited.
It's
We're
like people
yay.
are now standing in their truth, and
Yeah.
they're also polarizing, and they're, you know,
Yeah.
they have an opinion, and they're starting to wake up because there are more people that are putting stuff out there. And so it's really, it's separating the wheat from the chaff.
It is.
Right?
It is. There's a big separation going on.
So, I mean, they
Yeah.
talk about this again in the Bible. It's like, we're getting so, you know, I've been reading my Bible for 30 to 90 minutes every morning, and
yeah,
I'm
I
getting
read my
so
Bible
much
every
more
day right now.
information from
Yeah.
the Bible right now in terms of clarity than I did for years when I studied the Tao Te Ching.
Yeah.
I mean, I studied the Tao Te Ching. I wrote papers on it. I wrote essays on it. I was going to retranslate the Tao Te Ching. I mean, I studied 12 copies at a time, and I would read one chapter. You know, this is translations and interpretations. I would read the history of each author to know where they were coming from, and I would read each chapter one at a time in all these different translations until it broke my mind, right? And that's how much I loved it.
It is a
But
great
as
book.
I'm reading the
Yeah.
Bible right now, it's truth, untruth, truth, untruth, truth, untruth.
And there's so much going on in there that, you know, I'm reading it from this perspective and going,
Yeah.
oh, whoa, wait, what? That's what, like, I'm hearing like stories that I've read a million times, you know, as a kid or whatever. I'm hearing completely differently now. It's been fascinating.
So one of the stories that
Absolutely
that really hit me, and we were
Wait,
reading.
I'll be right back.
I forget if I was reading this. No, I think it was something that actually the pastor talked about, Pastor Paul, last week. He said, oh my gosh, it's so hot in here. So he was talking about the, I forget what they're called. It's like the floors, the something floors, where you take the wheat and the chaff, and you the culling floors, I think, something like that, where you take the wheat and the chaff. So you let the wheat and the chaff grow together until harvest. And you can't separate them until then. So you let the weeds grow together with them, because you can't tell the difference. The weeds and the wheat, the weeds and the wheat look the same as they're growing together. You can't tell the difference. So you can't tell which ones are the weeds to pluck them. So the easiest way to do it is to let the weeds and the wheat grow together. And so this is what I believe. This isn't what he was talking about. This is what I believe has been happening. And the switch into 5D is the floor. I forget what he called it, the culling floor, the something floor, if anyone knows. But you know, that's what's happening right now in 5D. It's like we've been growing together with you know, our fellow man that is, you know, has an undefined voice. And now we're at a point where, so basically what happens is, once you pick the wheat and the chaff together, you throw it up in the air, and the wind will blow the chaff away, and the wheat falls to the ground. And so you keep throwing it up and throwing it up and throwing it up and throwing it up. And after a while, all the chaff is gone, and all you're left with is wheat. And so now you've got two separate realities, right? And so we keep hearing that there are going to be two earths, right? And these are going to be two completely separate realities.
5D positive and 5D negative. You know, the service to others path is going to go, we're going into 5D positive, and the service to self path is going into 5D negative. It's happening right now. It is what's happening right now.
Yep. So I hope you got something out of that call. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you guys.
Please be
so
here
much.
next week. There were only I think there was 3 or 4 people on last week. We were like, what did we say?
There were more than 3 people on
we
last
were like,
week.
what did we say the week before?
I think everybody was tired.
Oh no, we were all energetically exhausted last week. So yeah, we're like, I think
same time each week. Yeah, same time each week.
Yeah.
So put in
Thank
your
you
calendar.
all.
You guys can make it again. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks
We
for being
appreciate
here.
you. Please share in the group. We love your shares. please share personal stuff in the group. That's really my favorite thing. Your personal downloads, your personal dreams. I've seen a lot of people sharing dreams and visions and things like that. That's like really the good stuff.
Give us
that we
your
wanna
personal
hear.
updates.
Yeah.
Give us what you're getting in meditation. What insights are you getting in about, you know, what you think is happening? What messages are you getting into? And you guys, I appreciate you guys being so active. We got
Yeah, thank you.
113 messages here. You know, I'm reading the messages the whole time on the thing here, and so yeah, you guys are amazing. Thank you so much for
Thank you
being
guys
here
so
and being
much.
engaged
Yeah.
and being focused and asking good questions and guiding us on this call. All right, you all.
All right,
Oh,
have a
hold
great
on.
week,
I'll
you guys.
pull
God
you all
bless.
off.
God bless you.
I'll unmute all so we can say hi, bye. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
That was
Hasta
phenomenal.
luego. Buenas noches.
Soul family.
Hasta mañana.
Thank you.
Hasta mañana.
Hasta mañana. Ciao, ciao.
Gracias.